What's the topic today? Now, before I speak, how many think they have a strong-willed child at home? How many sense? Wow. wow. Parenting a strong-willed child. I don't know what brought you here tonight. Maybe you came because you used to be a strong-willed child, and you're just curious to learn about strong-willed children. Maybe you came because despite following every written script, human and divine, you finally found out that your son, who happens to be a piano player in church, is addicted to pornography, is addicted to hypersexual activity, and now you feel every safe haven you had is already busted. Maybe you're here tonight even on a more emotive situation. You realize you are an overprotective dad to your teenage daughter because of your own inner insecurities. In your college days or university days, you slept with girls that you cannot even count. And now, the mega thought that there is a man who is getting closer to your daughter sends shivers down your spine. You are terrified at the mere mention that she's going to Naivasha for a night out with her peers, because horrific memories of your wicked night vigils, terrifying memories of your ungodly exploits are rekindled, and you can't stand her going out. As years pass by, you have realized that premarital sex is not only erroneous to the perpetrator, but worse still, it's a serious liability for generations after you. You recognize that you're the father she's supposed to look up to, but at the same time, you cannot give what you do not have. And you cannot relate your youth, so you're in a stalemate. Of course, you could be here tonight because you have a teenage girl who takes you bananas. Among other things, she has tattooed her body like a tree trunk, pierced herself all over like a bullet-ridden wall. She wears torn pants that are shorter than description, and she leaves her top open-ended to the extent of exposing very beautiful physique, gradua, geographic features that make every passing head to spin, and especially the ogling type. But of course, you could be a single man who came tonight because you're raising a son, an only child. And in the past, you've consoled yourself that women need a man as much as a fish needs a bicycle. But the hands of time and ground reality is now humbling your feminine chauvinism. Or you simply are here tonight because while you've raised your child the best way you know how, no mean charges, you just want to add your notes and scope matters parenting for the sake of seminars or counseling sessions that you conduct. Whatever your motivation tonight, parenting is not for the faint-hearted. Being in the strong-willed children club makes an already very challenging responsibility a very daunting calling. Strong-willed children have such an iron will, and their proclivity to challenge the status quo can be freaking exhausting. Strong-willed children desire to challenge the establishments. They desire to keep testing the boundaries and the limits because they want to gather information about their world and to learn more about themselves. And there's no grace period to shield you from the barrage of questions and arguments from sunrise to sunset. Even before your waking emotions settle, your 10-year-old boy already has launched a 10-minute dissertation on why he should wear the same shirt and pair of shorts to school for the third day in a row again. At whatever parenting stage you're in, your strong-willed child, the intense struggles you have had with him or her, has sucked the life out of you. The ability of a strong-willed child to draw the maelstrom emotions and behaviors out of your life has made you to take a closer look at yourself. You've pondered over and over again wondering, Where did I go wrong? Where did I drop the ball? You've read stacks of books, attended various seminars, tried different parenting approaches, including spanking the child to see whether you could drive the sense into his seemingly stalwart brain, but nothing doing. You finally pointed an accusing finger on your spouse, jokingly, for passing on the stubborn gene to that child. But your struggles with your strong-willed child has finally made you know the doors of the church and remember the power of prayer. It has also harbored you enough to stop blaming other parents that you regarded weak. They were unable to raise children well. It has also made you recognize, matters your child, you are the only expert and authority in raising your own child. You know for sure that your daring child will start at nothing but to explore his world, the vast unknown, and he will not allow anything to stand his way. So during those moments, when you feel like losing it, when you feel so pushed by your spirited and determined offspring, I urge you to look into the future with a smile. One day you'll wake up when all the kids have since gone, and you're going to receive a phone call in the dead silence of the morning from your strong-willed child from one corner of the globe, narrating to you his world exploits, making you one proud mama, one proud daddy. Thank you. And the reason I'm saying this is because research after research shows that strong-willed children are the world changers. They are born leaders. They will dare what no other person will dare. They will go places no one will go. They will try what no other person will try. Often than not, as parents, when we go through struggles with strong-willed children, we lose perspective and begin to focus on our own emotions, our own struggles, at the expense of the child's uniqueness, at the child's future, at the possibilities ahead of that child. Parenting is the central experience in life. It is the greatest source of self-awareness. It is the true fountain of joy and pride. It is the most eternal bond with a partner. But how exactly do we raise our children? For the majority of us, we try either or all or a combination of the following four ways. First, we do what was done to us. We repeat a vicious cycle, recurrent patterns. We do the same things our parents did to us. So if your mom used to lecture you, screaming house top, non-stop, you follow suit. If your father sowed the seeds of life generously in every county and country, to the extent you do not even know all your siblings, you follow the same path. That it has been done for a long time doesn't make it right. You can have a long, wrong experience. What if there is a better way? What if there is a superior way? What if there is a different way of dealing with it? That's the question I want to ask you. Secondly, we raise children based on what we know, parenting intuitively, which then reduces us to mammalian creatures who parent by instincts. But you see, ladies and gentlemen, we are thinking beings. Maturity requires us to exchange notes and to share experiences. As it is written, as iron sharpens iron, so does one man's countenance sharpen another man's countenance. How do we raise our children? Number 3, we allow the world to do it, especially peers, teachers, and the media. For the majority of kids with absent parents, they tend to trust their peers and teachers more than their parents. And children try to process every piece of media without interrogating the authenticity of the information. And a lot of parents prefer kids being in boarding school. They would rather the teacher deals with the child. They have already given up, though they can't admit. How do we raise children? Number 4. We use the same script across board. We raise a child based on how we raise their firstborn, ignoring the child's peculiarity, individuality, and personality. You see, we are a generation that likes copy and paste because it's the easy thing to do. And you see, ladies and gentlemen, the path of least resistance makes men and rivers crooked. We don't like producing original manuscripts. We would rather just copy paste all of them. You see, kids are fundamentally different. They are diametrically different. They have different personalities. Broadly speaking, we have two types of children. We have compliant children and strong-willed children. Compliant children follow the scripts. They follow instructions as given. They don't question authority. Unconsciously, many parents impose their will on compliant children. So it's much easier to destroy their strong will without knowing, and thereby setting them up to a world that is not in their highest interest, and making them over-dependent children. Strong-willed children, on the other hand, will always have their way. When their heart is set to achieve something, their brain struggles to change. It has a difficult time from changing the bearing. Strong-willed children will not just take instructions as given, they will question the why behind it. And there are many parents here, you know that your child will always ask you why. And without proper explanation, at some point they are likely to kick back or to rebel or to question why you're giving orders. Now, I believe with all my heart, for the knowledgeable and discerning parent, it's much easier to raise a strong-willed child than a compliant child. Why? It is easier to deal with someone who is candid and expressive than someone who is closed up. It's easier to know what they are going through. Now, strong-willed children, let's face it, they have a lot of frequent power struggles with their parents. But you see, it takes two to have a power struggle. It takes two to tango. You don't have to attend to every argument you're invited. You don't need to allow your 4-year-old child make you act like a 4-year-old child yourself. But on the flip side of the coin, strong-willed children are a handful of energetic, tenacious, persistent, high-capacity individuals who reform the world, who change the world. So the real question we are supposed to transact tonight is, how do we bring out these fabulous qualities from these children and still expect cooperation from them as they grow up? That's what I want to do with you today. And I want to do that by giving you some key lessons on raising strong-willed children. But these lessons are not just about strong-willed children. These are lessons you can apply in parenting holistically. And the first lesson I'll take you through tonight: what is influencing your child? Lesson number 2, the influence of fathers. Lesson number 3, bring out the best out of your child. Lesson number 4, give children choices. Lesson number 5, children are experiential learners. Lesson number 6, and the last one, you are a custodian to your child. Are you ready to learn? Yes. Lesson number 1, what is influencing your child? And I want us to look at 5 sources of influence to your child. The first source is cartoons. Even before they learn to walk and talk, children below the age of 10 have already been exposed to cartoons. I see kids as young as 2 years and below already glued to cartoons. And some cartoons are very productive. But a lot of cartoons, in the disguise of helping children to know that they can do it on their own, the coded message is rebellion against parents. It's rebellion against instituted authority. They celebrate disobedience and rebellion. and that is setting your children up for failure. How many in this live audience are familiar with a cartoon by the name The Little Mermaid? By a show of hand. Anyone? Wow. Cartoon people here. In The Little Mermaid, Ariel constantly defies her father, but she still remains her daddy's favorite daughter. Despite his stern warnings that she should not relate with humans, she goes ahead and gets married to a human, against every fiber of the father's being. As we are going to discuss shortly later, it's important for kids to learn to make choices, but that does not mean open defiance to parents, especially for children so young. It is setting them up for failure. And some of you who lifted up their hands that you have strong-willed children, the odds are high. You have just exposed this child to rebellious cartoons for so long, and they are trying to tell you what they have heard from the cartoons. I can do it on my own. And you're paying the price. In addition to having uncouth, vulgar language, some cartoons are violent laden. Why should a 10-year-old or less be exposed to violence, or anyone for that matter? Isn't it this the reason why there is so much hostility and violence in your house? We would expect the producers of these cartoons to be mature, responsible adults. You see, the average father does not care about these cartoons. They don't want to study about kid stuff. And I want to let the fathers know that every video game has a certificate for a reason. Now, of course, it might be hard for you to go studying and analyzing all the cartoons on that. But I'll tell you what I think you can do as an action point from this meeting. First, I took the labor, I took the pain of analyzing 10 cartoons for you. And we have some handouts at the info desk. I analyzed 10 cartoons in a very systematic way, showing you the danger every cartoon presents. Most of them are extremely familiar cartoons. If I mention them, you know them very well. But I think what you can do as a parent is this. You can form a social media group, say 20 packs, and then agree as 20 parents, each of you is going to analyze only one cartoon, because you may not have the time to go through all these cartoons, and then share what you think with other parents in the group. Then you, as a team of parents, will be aware what the child is watching, and not only the theme of the cartoon, but even the language used, whether it's palatable with the values you believe in. You shouldn't allow your child to process something you have not censored. The child does not have the capacity to tell what is right or wrong. You see, the brain of a child is like a blank screen. Anyone can scribble whatever they desire. If you do not take a lead stage, someone else will feed them with fatal trash, and you'll have failed in your responsibility as a parent. Many of them, I dare say tonight, are manufactured at the pit of hell. If eyes are the windows to the soul, then I suggest tonight, ears are the gateway to the heart. And we must safeguard not only what we see, but also what we hear, because we can perform in a manner that is inconsistent with those inputs. And if these are the inputs in a child below the age of 10, they become permanent, indelible marks in the future of that child. Who is influencing your child? Number 2, the TV. The TV is a very powerful force. Sets the agenda of a nation like Kenya. In this nation in particular, TV, whether it's an advert or a program or plain news, they advocate violence, extramarital affairs, smoking, alcoholism. You're even ashamed to watch some adverts during news with your child. But the real danger posed by the television is not the behavior the TV promotes, but the behavior the TV prohibits. What does it prohibit? The TV denies that child time to fill in the jigsaw puzzles, to do outdoor activities with real children who teach them PR skills, or to ride a bicycle, or to swim, or to play their football, or even playing wrestling. The TV denies them a chance to interact with their parents, so you remain strangers under one roof. I don't know what you're going to do in your house, but this is what I've done in my house before the kids were even born. So they didn't need to adjust. There's no TV for my children between Monday and Thursday at all. There's no TV. On Friday, they have 101 options after their homework. On Saturday, they have to go out and play after 10 a.m. And on Sunday is the day out with their parents. And since this is a tradition they have met all along and it's consistent, they never had even a chance to adjust. That was already a tradition set for them. But you can reverse this if you yourself adjust. You can be hooked by that magic box and demand your child not to be addicted by the TV. Don't be a puppet for manipulation from other people's ideas. Interrogate them against timeless values. Don't do things just to look in line with style. Styles run out of styles. Catchers rise and fall. The only thing that is eternal, if you want to remain totally irrelevant, eternally irrelevant, is to hook up with the only thing that is eternal, that doesn't lose value or style or culture, and that's God's word. Who is influencing your child? Number 4. Number 3, thank you. Gadgets. We are living in interesting times. Teenagers and young adults have transitioned from TV to gadgets. They're on the phone and their tablets, chiefly because of social media. A lot of parents will admit, and teachers alike, about their struggles to control the phone from their teenage children. Some have even taken drastic measures of crushing very expensive phones. But I think one of the reasons kids get addicted to phones is because most parents are addicted to phones. They have no control over their phone. So while we are the most connected generation since the beginning of times, we are the most disjointed since time began. So you'll find people under one roof, separated by thousands of miles by a gadget. They do not even know each other. Learn to switch off your phone. It's just a habit you formed. Sit down with your daughter, with your son, and agree over the holiday. This is how we are going to make use of the phone or the internet. You know, for me, we have decided to put internet 24/7 in our house. There is Wi-Fi 100% of the time. How can you do that, Doc? Let me tell you why. Even if I switched off the Wi-Fi from my house, I will not switch off the Wi-Fi from the city of Nairobi. It would be better for you to train them to use the laptop responsibly. So I have a computer room where the kids stay with the computer, and besides the computers, I gave my daughter a laptop. And when I bought her, I called the mother who is together with us here. And then I picked 3 symbols. I put them on the table. I told her, look, I want us to learn something. And this lesson took an hour. I brought my PhD thesis, put it on the table. I brought a report I had done for a corporate organization and one of the DVDs of our meetings here. Then I told Ivy, look, all these things are produced by this laptop. It's my library, it's my office, it's my tool of work. Besides, all the books are published or produced by this desktop. You can make constructive use of the internet you have in the house. So now I want you to sit down and write for me 20 things you can do using your laptop. And she wrote them. And I say with humility, to God be the glory, she has never competed with any child in her class in her computer studies. She says that is not negotiable in terms of her performance in computer studies. And she assists, together with her brother, at that age, with some of the flyers we use here, because we brought a teacher on board to teach them CorelDRAW. So we convert that energy to constructive use for the family. And then we agree, this is the time you can use your laptop or your phone. And of course, they can't use them during school days unless there's a school assignment. And if it's a school assignment, they have no need for closing the computer door. We can get in there and check what they're doing. Who is controlling your child? Number 4, the education system. A morality-based education system packaged in the disguise of sex education is about to be introduced to your child. Proponents of this system want you to believe that they want to teach your child health sex education. The truth is, among other things, they are proposing to teach children about sexual orientation. If you are coming in this life club for the first time, I need you to know I don't believe in that. Nobody was born gay. You choose to be gay. And I congratulate the President of Kenya when he was being carpeted by the media guys when President Obama was here. And he said on behalf of this nation, because he's the CEO speaking on our behalf, homosexuality is a non-issue in Kenya. And I'll tell you in a moment why he said that. But walk with me if you can. They are teaching your children how to use contraceptives and condoms. But they are not teaching them about the dangers, emotional pains of premarital sex. They are not telling the child that the person who sleeps with you in school does not love you, because love is not self-seeking. Lust is. Love seeks the interest of the other party. They are not telling them that. They are showing them how to make use of condoms and contraceptives. Who said they must engage in premarital sex? At this rate, it's my considered opinion in the next 7 years, they will give them sex toys. Then they will say it's okay to have incest. It's your choice to sleep with your mother. And then it's going to graduate and say it's all right to choose which animal you want to sleep with. Let's legislate bestiality. Some may choose a giraffe and another a little cat. Now, that sounds weird in the year 2017. But the same thing that is being taught in school, if you mentioned it the year 2000, it looked weird. You see, Martin Niemöller said evil prevails in the society when good people do nothing about it. Evil doesn't necessarily prevail because of the evil of the wicked people in the society, but because of the silence of the righteous. Doc, okay, I agree. So what can I do about it? There's something you can do about it, because you are a critical primary stakeholder of what your child is being taught. And those of you who were with us last year will remember I brought a lady who brought a film here on sex education and told us to sign up to stop that bill. I have good news for you. It was stopped. You played a very big role. Yes, I think we have a reason to clap. The signatures we corrected made Parliament to go back to the drawing table. They knew they are coming for our vote, they have to address that question. This was very timely. But it's a luta continua. The battle is not over. It will continue. Don't be a bystander. Don't watch and wait for what others are going to teach your child. And if you're absolutely convinced there's nothing you can do under God's servant about this syllabus, at least then take your child to a school that teaches them the value you subscribe. Don't act helpless. The growth of your child is irreversible. You will not redeem it after they mess it up. I travel a lot, and let me tell you this. In the United States, for example, a lot of good people like you have withdrawn their children from public schools because of the same argument I'm giving you. Who is influencing your child? Number 5 and the last one. Peers. Her colleagues in school, in the compound. A lot of teenagers tend to trust their peers than they trust you. What are you going to do about it? I think there are 2 things I want to suggest about that. First, I discourage anyone here from allowing your children to go for the so-called sleepovers. Let your child stay in your house. If they must do that sleepover, be 100% convinced that that other family subscribes to the same values like you do. And you're also sure about the other visitors who visit there. I've been in this business for so long of speaking to people, and the overwhelming majority of teenagers who spoke to me, they told me their first sex experience was with somebody who was in their house. Usually a close relative or a house girl or a visitor, because you took your daughter to a home where there are girls, but that home there are other boys coming to visit. But there's something else you can do. You can encourage her friends to come to your house and then watch them closely, because the character of your child is more or less within a certain variance from the character of her peers. You don't perform in a manner that is inconsistent with the guys you hook up with. She might be hiding a number of things from you that will be revealed by her friends unconsciously if you host them for lunch. So encourage her friends to visit your house so that you can observe and know where to correct. The third thing you can do is to try to form a certain group. You can trick kids into who becomes their friends by creating some circle of family friends. And then you can introduce some common values for these family friends, all within your gated community if you live in one. You can approach the other parents and agree on some systematic values. For example, you can agree holistically. What do you think we can do about the phones? Ask them questions about the TV, about this, about that. And then you realize you can agree as a nested, the music they'll be watching. There is something you can do as an active parent. This takes me to our second lesson tonight, the influence of the fathers. What I'm going to share with you in lesson 2 may be very sensitive to some among us, because we have tried to undermine the role of fathers in the society. So the truths I'm going to share with you and some statistics are going to be very disturbing, but stay with me. Truth sets free. You see, in urban setups, like the city of Nairobi, single parent families are almost 40%. And unless we have an open, candid dialogue in years to come, the traditional families as we know them today will cease. And the new